Hmm. All right, we are live. I'm very excited to be here with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and just check some levels here while everyone arrives. Mhm. Hmm. Mhm. All right, letting folks arrive. I'm going to light some sage while folks join in. Thank you all who are watching this live or catching the replay. Do a little saging here, just clearing the space. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to give folks a little bit of time to arrive. And as I do that, I'll go ahead and just introduce myself and invite all of you to start coming into body, coming into presence, right? So, whatever that looks like for you, maybe you want to make yourself more comfortable. Maybe you want to tend to some of your bodily needs as we land here, get some water, get a snack, go to the bathroom. Whatever you're needing, I invite you to give that to yourself because we're going to be spending the next hour together, really spiraling within and really claiming this moment for ourselves and claiming the transformation that is possible for us during these mega astrology moments, but also just in general, right? So, again, my name is Kristen. I am an intuitive healer and channel. I've been on this kind of, I guess we'll call it self discovery, personal development path for many years, 8+ years. And I am thrilled and delighted to be able to hold space for other conscious creators, for folks who are really wanting more out of life, right? Folks who have that deep feeling inside of there's something more for me out there, right? Because likely, if you're feeling that, there is. And in the grand scheme of this world, right, the universe wants that for us, right? So I am going to go ahead and have a little sip of water here. I'll invite y'all to also have some water, hydrate yourself. I'm an energy worker. I work with high vibrational, unconditionally loving energies. And so whenever I hold space, whenever I open circle, there's always energy, right, that is working through me and through you to help us clear what is blocking us, to help us clear what is keeping us small, right? Because we came here with big purpose. We came here with much power, and it is time for us all to claim this power, claim this purpose, and step forward and answer the call. So, for those of you who are here live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Feel free, if you feel moved, to drop in the chat where you are in this world and or an intention that you have for our time together. And so, as you start to drop in here, I'll invite you to start taking a few deep breaths. I'm going to go ahead and officially open this circle. Intending and knowing that whether you are here now, whether you enter this space in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, or after the recording, that you are here. You are welcome here. And as I open this circle, your intention to be here is woven into this space. So I'll invite you to start taking a couple deep breaths. And as you breathe here, I'll invite you to start letting your energy drop down, letting your awareness drop down out of that mental space and down into your body, into your heart space, into your hips. And you can imagine that you can send some roots down into the ground. Just allow yourself to send those roots into the ground. Feel, imagine, sense them growing into the ground, connecting you to the earth below. Take a few moments to just breathe here, attuning to the earth. And as you breathe here, I'll invite Mother Gaia, this beautiful planet, to support us in this work, to help us hold this space out of time and space, to help us hold this circle and hold our intentions, right? So breathe here, feeling that groundedness, feeling that holding. Mm. And as you feel ready, I'll invite you to imagine that you can reach tendrils and roots up out of the crown of your head and into the cosmos. Maybe you imagine these rooting into the sun or a different solar system or a different star system, just allowing those roots to take root in the cosmos, the great above, right? Claiming your place in the bigness, the oneness of us all. And as we breathe here, we'll invite in that universal consciousness. We'll invite in that higher knowing, that divine love, that unconditional love, that Reiki. We'll invite in that collective consciousness to flow around us, to flow in us, to assist us in this work that we're embarking on, to assist us as we claim our power, as we dream of something better, to assist us as we come back into relationship with our heart, with our bodies, with our full potential, as we claim the limitlessness, as we release ourselves from the shackles, as we allow illusions to dissolve, right? Breathing here. Mm. And from this space where we are deeply connected below and deeply connected above and claiming our divine place in the space between, I'll also invite in our collective well ones, our ancestors, our happy, whole, and well ancestors who want to support us in this work, inviting them to circle around this sacred space and help us hold this space, help infuse this space with that wisdom, right? With that knowing, with that ancient knowing, that ancient lineage that we're all connected with, feeling that holding, right? Feeling that love and that support. Just knowing that we're not alone, that we don't walk this path alone, and that there are so many here to support us as we take this courageous step forward into our deepest longing and into our soul power and our destiny. So I'll allow you to take a couple deep breaths in here, just attuning to that holding and really feeling yourself in this space, right? I was reminded recently that things that are holy and things that are sacred are really just things that we make beautiful and then that serve a specific purpose. And so, in many ways, we, right, are sacred. We are holy. We were made beautiful and here to serve a very specific purpose. And so, I invite you to breathe that in, to really honor that, to really create some space for this sacredness, this mystical element that has been really lost in a lot of our world, but is being reclaimed by so many right now, right? We are in a massive kind of transitionary point in time right now. We are entering into fall, right? Just in general, on a seasonal level, right? The leaves are starting to fall away from the trees, right? The days are getting shorter. We're getting closer to winter, right? There is an invitation to release, right? We're also tomorrow going to be having a new moon in Libra and a solar eclipse also in Libra. This is a massive opportunity for us to begin again, for us to let go of the past and step forward into the future, right? For us to let old identities dissolve, old relationships dissolve, old narratives dissolve, so that we can fully claim who we came here to be, right? What we came here to do. And so this is a moment in time when we are really all being tested and tried and called to look at and recognize the ways in which we continue to hold ourselves back, the ways that we continue to stay small or stay in doubt, right? Or continue to kind of feed these false narratives of unworthiness, right? And we are really being invited, right, to upgrade our perception of self, to upgrade our identity, right? To really start seeing things from a new perspective. And so for folks who are here live, if this is landing with you, please go ahead and drop it in the chat. Before we hopped on, I went ahead and pulled some oracle cards to kind of get the flavor for where we're at. And so I want to share those with you now. So the first two come from this Earth Warriors oracle deck, which I absolutely adore. So the first card that we got was Lena, what must be shall be, right? This is such a powerful message for all of us, right? To have faith and to trust that even in the darkness, we are being guided towards the light, right? That actually in the darkness is when the light shines brightest. And so, regardless of where we find ourselves right now, right? Like, regardless of um, where we are in our journey, there is a reminder, right? That what shall be, right? And to have faith and to trust in the unfolding, to trust in the path, right? I was reminded earlier, right, that so often when we're called on this path of unbecoming, this path of becoming, right, this journey to really claim our fullness, our bigness, right, that we are walking a path blindfolded, right, that we are forging a new path, right, that we are blazing a new trail. And so for many of us, the path that we're walking, we can't see what's ahead, right? We don't know where we're going. And many of us have been programmed to kind of to abort, right? If we don't know what's going on, we need to stop, we need to pause, and we need to figure out what's going on before we can move forward. But unfortunately, on this path, right, this path of the soul calling, right, we don't get to know, right? Like we don't get the roadmap, unfortunately. Like we get an idea, right? Like we get a little bit of a glimpse to keep us hopeful and to keep us moving forward, but we aren't necessarily shown the whole way. And so there's this invitation to really trust the unfolding, to trust what is happening, and to maybe, right, like double down in our commitment to what we want, right? And to remember why it is that we're walking this path, right? That what remind ourselves what awaits us, right? The other card that I felt like was really poignant that came through was this Nana Buluku, excuse me. She rests to create, and this card is honoring a West African goddess, grandmother, creatrix, who created the universe and then rested, right? And so there's this deep invitation to remember how important rest is to creation, right? Again, many of us living in this Western society have been programmed to think that the only way that we get ahead is by practically killing ourselves on the path, right? Pushing and grinding and struggling and forcing, right? And while that can sometimes get us the results that we desire, and there might be evidence in our family line or our surroundings that, yes, that kind of struggle can reap great rewards, right? There is an invitation here to remember that at the core of all creation is a balance between the action and the rest, which feels like a poignant invitation during this Libra season, right? Because Libra is represented by the scales, right? Libra is an air sign. It's also a cardinal sign, right? Cardinal signs initiate, they start, right? They get us moving. And so there is this kind of melding, right, of this balancing between the taking action and the resting, fortified by this initiation, right? The trusting that sometimes rest is exactly what we need to gain the courage and the fortification and the energy to do what needs to be done, right? And so, how can we stop shaming ourselves for our need to rest, right? How can we find that balance between the doing and the being, right? Because frankly, right, when I think of what I desire, right, what I want or what I'd like to see, it isn't a world full of people who are frantically doing and a bunch of busybodies and folks who are all suffering, right? It's a world where we are filled with joy, we're energized, we know that we can take a break and trust things to still happen, right? There is this deep need for all of us to see that there is medicine in the pause, in the stillness, especially as we find ourselves on this precipice leading us into winter, right? Because winter is the big rest, right? It is the big going within, right? It's that moment to recalibrate before we burst forth again at spring. And so we need to remember that rest is an intricate part of creation. And something I think is so beautiful of the two of these working together, right, is that as we begin to trust that what will be, right, as we begin to trust in our destiny, right, in our calling, in what we're here to do, all of a sudden we can trust in the spaciousness, right, the space we need to rest, the space we need to create, right? Ah, oh, I see a comment here. Like the leaves of the tree detaching from our past selves and stepping into the present. Yes, definitely, right? Like when we when we step into a new way of being, right? If we are still identifying ourselves from old programming, old stories, we are limiting our ability to be present to our current power, right? We're limiting our ability to yeah, to really claim what's here for us now, right? Um, and then I want to show two more cards here from the Work Your Light deck because I thought they were really poignant. So just quickly, don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in, right? I think that this is a really poignant question for us as individuals, but also for us as a collective, right? We have lived through generations of trauma where individuals who shine brightly, right, have been harmed, right? Like killed, shunned, rejected, abandoned, right? We have lived through that, right? And so we are working now to heal that, and to model a new way, right? Model a way that is, as I live bright and authentically, you also get to live bright and authentically. And our lights get to shine even brighter, right? We're seeing this happen in every aspect of the world, right? Where people are saying, enough is enough, right? I won't be made small. I won't be dimmed. I won't be told that I have to hide who I really am, but rather I am going to be my big, bold self. And if you don't like it, then fine, bye, right? And so there's this huge invitation right now to really claim your bigness, right? We need your light, right? We need your unique, authentic light, right? And something that is so beautiful about this spark, this light, right, is that once one light is lit, all of a sudden we can light all the fires, right? Like we only need one torch and then all the torches get to be lit, right? And so there's this reminder, right, that like, yes, we're doing this as an individual, right? We're individually claiming our own light and choosing to be authentic and bold. But as we do that, it ignites an exponential like ignition that where everyone's light gets to be bright and bold and full, right? Because I think we all can relate to being in social situations where someone is like bright and authentic and big, and we go in there and we're like, cool, I can totally be me. I can be my full weird self. No problem. Love it, right? And we can also probably relate to other situations where we've gone into a space and everyone's really like suppressing themselves and repressing their stuff. And we're like, oh, shoot, better not be too big or they might, find me out. I might get kicked out. And so there's this reminder, right? That like how we choose to live, right? Authentically, open, expressed, or kind of tight, repressed, right? Impacts everyone around us. And so it's that reminder of as within, so without, as above, so below, right? That like as we do this work on ourselves, it ripples, right? It creates change. It's not selfish, it's necessary. It is necessary. And then the other card that came out of this Work Your Light deck was the Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, Soul Tribe, which felt really poignant for our time together here and just in general, right? Like there is a huge awakening going on the planet now, right? Like there are so many individuals who are coming forth and claiming their intuitive abilities, claiming their like their magic, right? Like claiming their spirituality. And we are a part of this, right? Like we get to claim our place as a part of this. We are not alone. We have not been abandoned, right? Like we have purpose and we are deeply connected to each other and so many others. Uh, so I've said a lot and I want to say a little bit more because, again, the energies that are alive right now are all around big time releasing, right? Huge shedding, right? Um, and I say like big time releasing and huge shedding, and in the grand scheme of things, the things that we're releasing could seem like seemingly small, right? Um, so we could be releasing a behavior or a story, right? Like we could be releasing something big, like a relationship or a job, or we're moving. And regardless of what the actual thing is that we're releasing, there is this reminder that as we let go, we create space, right? There's also the reminder of this kind of nothing is wasted, right? We live in a world where things are upcycled, recycled, right? Like nothing is wasted. I think of compost, right? I think of the leaves that fall from the tree that then turn into earth and feed the tree, right? Nothing is wasted. And so as we are allowing ourselves, giving ourselves permission to let go, we can also choose to see this letting go not as like a I'm throwing it in the trash and it's going to just be in the dump now, but we can see it as like I'm choosing to compost this. I am choosing to give this back to life to be composted and turned into more life, right? We can also choose to see this as like an upcycle or a recycle, right? So maybe rather than like totally completely erasing like aspect of our past identity, maybe it's just being upgraded. Maybe it's just being up leveled, right? So like maybe we've always, you know, done a task like teach within a system, like a school system. And now we're starting to see the way that we teach in all aspects of our life. And we're bringing that identity outside of that system and into something, you know, ourself, right? Our identity as teacher. And it doesn't have to be done in this one way or in this one way, right? Like it gets to be limitless. It gets to be bigger than the container it had been in before, right? Because so much of what we're doing right now is growing beyond the containers we've been given, right? Growing beyond the programming that we have inherited and choosing a different way, right? Because that's one of the beautiful things about life on planet Earth as humans is that we have choice. We have free will. And so we get to decide, right, what path we want to walk. We get to decide what work we want to do. And so while like, yes, what will be shall be, right? We still have free will. We still big deal, right? Like that is both exciting and maybe sometimes terrifying too, right? Because sometimes it feels easier to stay small. Sometimes it feels easier to do what I've always done rather than try something new, right? And so I invite you, because we're going to start moving into some reflection here. I invite you to start getting curious, right? About what are you holding on to that is maybe outdated? What are you holding on to that you know isn't giving you that same satisfaction that it used to give you, right? What stories are you continuing to tell that are ready for a republish, right? Are ready for a rebrand, right? This is this is the time, right? Like it is it is time for us, right, to stop dimming our light, right, to stop giving our power away. And unfortunately, right, in order for us to do that, we need to start recognizing the ways in which we have been giving our power away or dimming our light or subscribing to old, outdated narratives that keep us small, right? So I've said a lot. I'm going to invite you to take a couple deep breaths here. And if you are a journaler, I invite you to pull out your journal And if not, I invite you to just take a few deep breaths and you can just kind of reflect on this internally. Ah, so I'm going to pose some questions and I'm going to drop some questions in the chat. And I'm going to give us a few minutes to just ponder these, to reflect on these, knowing that if these are really like speaking to you, that you can always come back to this and watch the recording. So one of the questions I already posed, what part of my narrative is outdated and ready to be republished? What part of my narrative is outdated and ready to be republished? Mm. Hmm. And I'll go ahead and just drop these other three questions in the chat too, so that you can do what speaks to you. So the other questions, how have I been dimming my light? In what ways have I been giving my power away? Mm. Mm. So, giving you a few minutes just to ponder those questions. What part of my narrative is outdated and ready to be republished? How have I been dimming my light? And in what ways have I been giving my power away? Mm. Mm. And as you reflect on those, I'll also invite you to ponder, what is one thing I can do today to reclaim my power, to shine my light, or rewrite my story? I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and give us about 4 minutes to go ahead and journal on these things. And then we'll come back with opportunities to share. All right, love. So I invite you to start kind of bringing your journaling to a close, knowing you can always come back to this inquiry. Mm, And for folks who are here live, or if you're watching the recording, I invite you to go ahead and drop in the chat. What's that one thing that you are going to do, or that you can do to reclaim your power, to rewrite your story, to shine your light, right? Go ahead and drop that in the chat, drop that in the comments, let that be witnessed, let that be held. This is no small thing that we're doing, right? There are countless reasons, right, to just not, right? And or rather, there are countless distractions available to us in our world that uh, would more than love to help us to ignore these inquiries, to um, you know, numb or avoid this deep soul work that we're doing. And so I want to honor and commend and celebrate you for saying yes to this, right? For going within, right? For choosing to be here right now and claiming this transformation and this care for yourself, right? This is no small thing. And I think often in this world, we tend to kind of downplay all of this magnificent work that we're doing, thinking that because we don't have like a medal or a trophy or something to show for it, that it doesn't count. And this inner work that we're doing is visible in how we show up in the world, right? It's visible in the way we choose to be. And it is a gift that you're not only giving yourself, but everyone else in your reality. So thank you so much. So, again, if you feel moved, feel free to drop in the chat anything that was coming up for you or what you are claiming for yourself. And we're going to be moving into some guided meditation, visualization, and energy work. So I invite you to start to take a few deep breaths. If you want to turn away from the screen or lay down or whatever is feeling good for your body right now, I urge you to trust yourself and give yourself what you need. This energy is potent and powerful, and it will work with you in the perfect way that is right for you in this moment. So I invite you to have deep trust as we begin to move into this space, trusting that whatever you receive is exactly what you're meant to receive, and also trusting that um, if you fall asleep, that's totally fine. If you're feeling like tingles or burps or yawns, that is completely normal. Energy moves in our bodies in very unique ways, and uh, our bodies will help us to release through these yawns, through tears, through burping. And truthfully, you might experience nothing as well. And that's also completely normal and perfect for you. I see in the chat here, I'm detaching myself from a scarcity story and creating a narrative abundance in my life. I love that. And I love that for you. And I love that for all of us. I think there's a huge invitation right now for us to rewrite our stories and narratives around our relationship with money, right? And our relationship with abundance, and our relationship with all the good that can come from being resourced, right? I think that, hmm, yeah, reclaiming and redefining our relationship with money and abundance is a huge, huge undertaking task, both individually and collectively. See another comment here in the chat. I'm releasing old stories of unworthiness, stepping back from the distractions. I choose today to spend time with tapping and doing mirror affirmations, I will color and let myself play. Yeah, I love that. I love the bringing in play, bringing in creative expression, bringing in all of those different self-care tools that we can use. These are all of our allies, right, in this work, right? Creative expression is such an important part of life, right? And so many of us hold ourselves back from expressing ourselves creatively because we're scared of making a mistake or we want it to be perfect. And we forget that, it takes time to build a skill and that sometimes things are perfect and they're imperfections. So am delighted that you will be doing some art, and I claim that for myself too. It's such an important way for us to um, realize our ability to manifest, right? To make art out of what once was just a blank sheet of paper and some random crayons, right? We are powerful creators with an ability to create a masterpiece out of our life and this world. And on that note, I'm going to invite you to just start taking a few deep breaths here. Start becoming conscious of where your body is being held, whether that's by the seat or the couch or chair that you're sitting in, or by the floor or the ground. And just breathing here and maybe allowing yourself to be held just a little bit more, maybe leaning back or feeling your feet planted. And as you continue to take some nice deep breaths in here, I'm going to invite that unconditionally loving divine energy, sometimes known as Reiki, but also known as many other things, to begin to spiral into our physical space, spiraling all around us. And if we're willing and ready and able, we can invite that loving Reiki energy to spiral within us too, imagining it spiraling in through the crown of our head, spiraling all the way down our central spinal column, spiraling out through our roots and into the earth. And from this place here, I'll invite you to tune back into those roots that you planted into the ground, imagining them growing deeper, growing wider. Maybe you imagine them starting to grow down into the center of this planet, pushing through fossil, concrete, rock, and crystal, underground caverns, waterways, until it reaches the center, the core of this earth, where the planet invites you to wrap tendrils of your roots around her molten core. Feeling yourself held here. Taking some nice deep breaths in and maybe imagining these things that are up for release, these stories that no longer serve you, these behaviors that keep you small and stuck. Imagining them start to just filter out of you, fall away, falling onto the earth, or maybe even into this molten core where they dissolve, evaporate, or burn away. Just breathing here and giving yourself permission with each exhale to just let go a little more. Feeling these old, outdated stories start to untangle themselves from you. Feeling these old, limiting narratives begin to unhook and fall away. Just allowing it. And maybe as we continue to breathe in and then consciously let go on our exhale, we'll also send gratitude to all these old stories and all these old narratives, all these old behaviors. Sending some thanks and gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for the role you played in my life. Thank you for the way in which you kept me safe. Thank you. And also, goodbye now. You've served your purpose, and I'm so grateful. And as we trust here that anything that no longer holds promise is falling away with ease, we can imagine that this loving light, this Reiki energy, this divine love that is spiraling down through the crown of our head, begins to just uptick a little. And the energy starts to pour down over us now with our permission. Ooh, washing away all that's ready to be left behind. Clearing space for all that is yet to come. Mm. And as this energy spirals within us, it begins to work with us on a cellular level, working with our DNA, working with our entire being, our organs, our tissues, our cells, our muscles, mm, to just really allow that release on a deep and full level. Mm. Inviting in our healthy, whole, and happy ancestors here. Those ancestors who also walked this path, those ancestors who also released so much so that they could step in to their soul destiny. We invite those ancestors now. You can imagine that they are sitting with you, standing around you. Maybe they even place a hand on your shoulder or your back, or they hold your own hand. Hmm. Continue breathing here as you feel that ancestral support, as you recognize that you're not the first in your line to do this work, as you recognize that you won't be the last either, as you recognize and take your place in the greater community of souls who have chosen to incarnate now, who have chosen to say yes to this work, to say yes to this journey, to say yes to this power. Mm. Breathing here and just feeling that you are not alone and that you are deeply supported. And as you continue to release and walk this path, that there are so many allies just awaiting your invitation to support you. Just remembering the deep support that you came here with, that you were born with. Mm. Mm. And now I want you to imagine that your ancestors or ancestor has a gift for you now. And if you are open, willing, and ready to receive that gift, then I invite you to receive it, sense it, feel it, know it, see it, and trust in whatever you're given. Mm. And as you receive that gift, it's possible that your ancestor or ancestors has some wisdom they want to share with you. And if you're ready, willing, and able, I invite you to receive that wisdom. Sense it, feel it, hear it, know it, see it, be it. Trust what comes through. Mm. Take a moment here to just breathe with that gift that you've been given. Mm. And to send gratitude to those ancestors who showed up for you today. Maybe you want to envision that you give them a hug or they give you a hug. Mm. And then as they are ready, they step back into the circle and take place with all of the other angels, guides, and helping beings and spirits who have shown up to support us in this great work. And here you are with that wisdom and that gift. And I invite you to imagine that you are storing that gift within you, storing that wisdom within you, or adorning yourself with that gift if that's appropriate, so that it's with you always, forevermore. And as you breathe here, I'll invite you to just imagine that, there is a golden ball of light around you now. This light is a protective light. Mm. And as you're held in this light, anything else that is ready to be released is released. Mm. Ooh. And as well, anything that is meant to serve you on your path is now magnetized towards this protective light. Ooh, all those soul parts and soul fragments, all those forgotten gifts or suppressed talents are magnetized back to you now. Mm. And as they move through this protective light and reintegrate with you, they are activated, awakened. They're online. Mm. All of these inherited gifts, all of these gifts of yours, these talents of yours, all of these soul parts and soul fragments are all starting to reintegrate into you now as you're held in this protective light. Mm. And this brilliant protective light knows what does not serve you. And so only those gifts and talents, and those parts of you that are in service to your highest good are able to penetrate through that light and be activated within you now. Anything else just falls away, knowing that if you ever do need it in the future, it will be there for you. Mm. And so this protective light begins to dim, but it does not disappear because it will move with you forward from this space and act as a beautiful protective membrane that is around you, helping to magnetize that which is for your highest good and helping to repel that which does not serve you. So I invite you to take a few deep breaths in and out here, imagining that you are filling this bubble of yours, this protective membrane, with your own loving light. And on each exhale, some of your light and magic begins to radiate all around you. And with each inhale, you breathe in a little bit of your own brilliance and magic. And as you exhale, you just fill that bubble up with your own soul essence, creative life force, feeling yourself now held by your own might, by your own creative energy and your own love. Mm. And now I'm going to invite us all to imagine that that beautiful brilliance that is around us, that is our own creative life force energy, that is our own love, that is our own might, right? Begins to grow, and it fills our entire room, the space that we inhabit, so that our entire environment is filled with our own creative potential, our own creative power. Ooh, and now I invite you to imagine that that light of yours is growing even bigger so that it is taking up the space of the entire town in which you inhabit. Ooh, so that your entire community is filled with your own loving potential and your own creative expression, your own creative might. Mm. Feeling yourself held here in this loving expression, in this potentiality. Right? As we continue to breathe here, I invite you to imagine that that light grows even bigger until the entire continent in which you find yourself inhabiting is pulsing with creative potential, is pulsing with creative might. Mm, mm. And now take a few more breaths here and just feel the whole planet being held in this creative expression, your potentiality, your loving creative essence. Just feeling that your potential is limitless and that no matter where you go, you can create magic. That magic awaits you. And if it feels right, you can keep this bubble nice and big, or you can imagine that it modulates back down now. Ooh, just circling around you, feeling yourself once again held by your own loving light. Oh, and as we begin to come towards the end of this energy healing experience, I'll invite you to take 2 or 3 more deep breaths here, breathing in that creative might, breathing out any resistance to your creative power, breathing in your soul essence, and breathing out any resistance or fear that you have of your soul power. Breathing in all of the magic and abundance that awaits you. Breathing out any resistance to creating all you desire. Mm. Oh, and I'll invite you to start blinking some light back into your eyes as you start to become present once again in this physical space, maybe taking some time to look around your space and land again. I'll thank the Reiki for working with us and invite that Reiki channel to slowly come to a close. You can imagine that you are retracting your roots back up into your body, up into your body as you unfurrow from the planet, knowing that you can always reroot. Or maybe you choose to keep your roots firmly planted here. That's your choice. Sending gratitude out to all of our healthy, whole, and well ancestors who showed up to support us in this work. Thanking the planet, thanking the cosmos, thanking our angels, guides, and helping spirits. And officially releasing this energy healing, closing this portion of this circle, allowing you some time to come back into body here. Maybe you want to jump into your journal and jot down what that gift was that your ancestor gave you or what the message was that they gave you. Maybe you want to drop that in the chat. Mm. And we're coming towards the closing of our time here together. And so I want to just remind you that this energy will continue to integrate over the next day or so. And so trusting that you are receiving exactly what it is that you are meant to receive here and now. Trusting, as I said early on, right, that sometimes even the things that seem dark and shadowy are lessons for us to learn, right? Invitations for us to shine brighter. You are deeply needed here now. And this is your time. So if you would like more support with claiming your power, tuning in to your intuition, releasing that which is holding you back, I invite you to reach out to me. My contact information will be below. I'll also go ahead and drop a link in the chat right now so that if you feel called, you can schedule a free call with me. I delight in supporting folks to claim their intuitive power and to really like live their most authentic self, right? I think that too many of us have really been taught that we have to, yeah, right, dim to fit in, right? That we have to change ourselves in order to fit in, right? That we need to um, assimilate or hide the things that make us uniquely us, right? And I believe, right, that it is our unique quirks, our unique, weird, magical things that really make us special and really make the magic that we're here to make and really create the impact that we're here to make. It's like we're needed in our authentic self, right? Like the time of trying to be someone we're not is over, right? The time of trying to be perfect is over. And so if you're feeling like you want support in moving beyond limitations, moving beyond perfectionism, right? Please reach out to me, schedule a call with me. Let's see how we can work together. Uh, if you are really wanting more support around this eclipse portal to let go and release, then I invite you also. You can, I have a pre recorded release ceremony. We move through a very similar rhythm that we moved through today. And the energy healing that came through in that call was potent. I re listened to it the other day and I'll probably re-listen to it again because the messages and the energy that were coming through felt very supportive for those of us who are really trying to leave the past behind and really trying to rewrite our narrative. So, also, finally, too, I'm doing this on a donation based level. So, if you are able, I'll go ahead and drop my um, some payment options here in the chat. And yeah, if you are able, feel free to send some money my way because I am doing this as a job, and we live in a world where we need money and resources in order to have many of our needs met. So if you are able, I invite you to send what you can. I am so thrilled and honored to be able to hold this space with you, to be able to have this ability to go live and share this wisdom, share this medicine, share this healing with you. Because again, right, like this is the time of the great gathering, right? Like in each other, we find ourselves and we are so much more powerful together. And so the more of us who are choosing to come into circle, right, to connect with each other on a human and heart vulnerable level, the bigger the change that we're going to see, right? Like the bigger the impact we're going to have. And also, yeah, the times of thinking that we can do this alone or that we have to do this alone is over, right? Like that myth, that illusion that we are separate is needing and wanting to be rewritten, right? We are intricately connected to each other, right? We are so much more alike than we think, and we are so much more powerful together. And so uh, I invite you into space with me. I invite you into community with me. If you're feeling called, please reach out. I am here. I'm thrilled to be walking this path, to be with you in this space. And I want to formally just close this circle because anything that we open, we should close. And so with great reverence and gratitude, I close this sacred space, sending all of your energies back to you, unhooking us from this space. Ooh, thanking all of the non-physical allies who showed up to help us support this work, thanking the earth and the sky and the moon and the sun. Ooh, sending gratitude to everyone I've forgotten to thank, and officially closing this circle. The circle is closed. The circle is closed. Circle is closed. The circle is closed. Thank you all so much, all of you who joined in live. Planning to do more live events in coming up in the future. So keep your eyes opened for that. And I deeply appreciate you. And if you feel moved and you feel called, please reach out to me. As I said, in each ourselves, and we are stronger together. And you're not alone. Well, be well, my friends. Take care over this weekend. This new moon and this eclipse is no joke. So be gentle with yourself, be loving with yourself, and when possible, give yourself time to rest. Give yourself time to integrate. You are worthy of rest. Bye, loves.